Working in the nursing industry, I had the opportunity to meet quite a few different patients. Many of these patients are suffering from various diseases and illnesses and are patiently waiting and hoping for a cure so they can live their best life. What if I told you that part of the answer or cure that they're looking for could be found in a plant or animal that went extinct? Biodiversity loss is a major environmental problem because it affects the way we live. Research shows that over 50% of our modern medicine comes from our biodiversity and natural resources. So, what exactly is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the variety of living things on Earth, and each contributes to its ecosystem, helping to keep things balanced. There are many different species of plants, animals, fungi, or microorganisms that compose our biodiversity. Making sure that Earth's biodiversity is strong and complex is essential because we depend on it for food, clean breathable air, water, and supplies like medicine or wood. Scientists estimate that Earth is home to about 8.7 million different species, but only 2 million have been discovered so far, which means there's still a lot of research that needs to be done and still a lot of answers we could find to problems we're looking for. Problem is, how can we find these answers if the species are being extinct before we get the chance to study them? Biodiversity loss not only causes certain species to be extinct, but it puts our food security at risk and it causes climate change to worsen. What we could do to help our environment from further biodiversity loss is being informed on how fashion could cause loss, having animal poaching stop, and decreasing deforestation. Nowadays, many people are into fashion, but not everyone is aware of the losses and effect it could have on our biodiversity if done wrong. Buying exotic leathers and items made from animal skin only just increases the demand for the animals to be hunted or farmed. Fashion items are bad for biodiversity when it comes from unsustainable sources, meaning that it's produced in ways that harm the environment or harms our wildlife. If we buy more than necessary, it just pushes up the production needs, which may lead to the building of more factories, resulting in loss of biodiversity due to the removal of the habitat to make space for the factories. If we're more educated on how fashion could harm our biodiversity, we could make better informed choices on what we buy, and we can support local eco-friendly clothing brands that are sourced correctly and protect our biodiversity and wildlife habitats, giving the ecosystem a chance to replenish. We could also buy secondhand clothing instead of always buying new, or we could donate unused clothes or clothes that we don't need to friends and family so there'll be less pollution from the fashion factories. Over the last few weeks, I've done some research on fashion production, and based on the World's Economic Forum, they do global study on economics. Fashion production can reduce biodiversity by polluting ecosystems and overusing natural resources. Fashion companies should use renewable energy to help with the pollution of rivers instead of using natural resources that our biodiversity depends on. Using sustainable materials that are recyclable and making clothing that is more durable definitely could help change the negative impact on the ecosystem and benefit our biodiversity. Along with the fashion industry, animal poaching is another threat to our biodiversity and it causes loss. It's basically the illegal hunting, capturing of animals to keep as a pet, or killing of wildlife, including endangered species. People poach for valuable products like rhino horns, maybe elephant tusk or zebra skins, or maybe just for traditional beliefs that the animals could provide them with medical health benefits if they eat it, or if they're a hunter to add to their trophy hunting set. Poaching continues because the products could be sold for large amounts of money, and that gives hunters a large financial incentive. Poaching disrupts ecosystems by removing important species like elephants, which helps the forest to regenerate by spreading seeds. Poaching not only kills the elephants and reduces their population, it harms forests because it's hard for them to regenerate. Strengthening anti-poaching laws and limiting legal hunting areas can help restore our biodiversity. Whenever we see suspicious activities, we can report them to wildlife authorities, and supporting and participating in local cleanups are actions that everyone can take to help protect our wildlife and preserve biodiversity from further loss. The thing is, biodiversity is much bigger and more complex than just animals. It includes plants, trees, forests, and all of these are just as important as wildlife because they work together to keep ecosystems healthy. Trees and forests provide us with fruits, nuts, they give homes to wildlife, and they help to remove CO2 from the air. Deforestation does happen naturally, but a lot of it's forced by humans to build new infrastructure or when the supply need grows. Deforestation causes biodiversity loss because the wildlife no longer have anywhere to live, which forces them to migrate, and many of them could die on the journey looking for somewhere that's sustainable. And it also damages the soil, so seeds die because they have lack of nutrients. We can find a good land management plan to help protect the environment and to stop the loss of plants and animals. In our communities, we could help by planting more trees to help to increase biodiversity, and we could clean up and restore damaged habitats. Even small things like reducing paper waste helps trees not to be cut down. Protecting our ecosystem and wildlife from biodiversity loss is essential for Earth and for our future. Together, we can take steps locally that create a more sustainable ecosystem that is balanced and is healthy for our biodiversity, benefiting everyone globally. Thank you.